What up, y'all? Welcome back once again to your boy's channel. You already know who it is, back with a brand new video. So, I found some time to talk about the Agatha All Along final two episodes, episode 8 and episode 9. If you're new here, please hit that like and subscribe button. I'm on the road trying to reach 2,000 subscribers going into 2025 and 4,000 watch time hours. So please help your boy out. So let's go ahead and jump straight into it. The main thing is I actually enjoyed this season. Going into like the last 4, maybe 5 episodes of Agatha. I know a lot of people didn't really care for this show. I know it went through a lot. I've talked about this a lot over the last, I would say, maybe a year or two because of the different titles that the show has had. But, of course, when it finally came down to it, the whole thing was named Agatha All Along. So, I thought that was kind of funny that, Marvel kind of messed with the people, the fans, whatever you want to call them, because of all the different titles that the show has had. So, getting into episode 8 and 9, I'm coming to jump all over the place. Basically, Agatha and what's left of her coven, I believe, Wiccan, or Billy, and I forgot the black chick name, excuse me, are, back on the road, and basically, they go into this room. I forgot how they got there, but they get stuck in this room. It's like a metal room, where there's a bunch of lights over here, and Agatha ends up coming clean and basically telling the black chick that, she was the one that basically blocked her powers or something like that, right? And so then the black chick ends up taking some type of string or something and ties around her arm and basically saying some type of chant and breaks the hole and gets her powers back. And eventually gets free, right? So she disappears out the room, and then this Wiccan, aka Billy, next. So Billy's in the room, and Agatha helps him. And so he gets free, he disappears, and then Agatha's last. And so the lights are almost going out in the room. Agatha's just in there by herself. And I thought the hair that she kept in the locket was Wanda's, but turns out, nope, it was her son's. And so she plants it, it ends up blooming a flower, and she gets free from the room as well. And then I almost forgot how they ended up getting into that room was they ended up putting their foot in the shoes that they had on the road, which was basically one big circle, and they end up disappearing into that room. So that's how they got in. So before Agatha gets out of the room, the whole room the ceiling starts to come down, dirt starts to fall. She ends up breaking out the door. She's in this backyard. She's into a big fight with Rio, the chick from way back in the beginning, a.k.a. Death, I believe, right? And so they get into this big fight, and I gotta say, I love the way that scene looked, how they made the sky look, how everybody in the town was kind of looking around like, oh, man, what's happening now? I liked how that scene looked. So, of course, she ends up agreeing to giving up Billy to Rio. And before that, they get into this big fight where Agatha was basically unable to fight because Rio has all this power and she basically has none. And so she lets Rio have Billy. Before she does, she runs over. I guess she has like a change of thought, change of mind. She runs back over to her, she kisses her, and she ends up dying, and her whole body turns into a bed of flowers. And then she leaves, Billy leaves, the whole town's kind of in shock about what's going on. They just standing there like, what just happened? And he goes home, and he's looking around his room and everything like that after he gets home, right? And he basically comes down to the realization that he basically created the road, right? So then the show goes off of him screaming at something or someone, and we finally get in the episode, I believe, 9. And basically what 9 is a whole story of Agatha's life. And basically it shows how she had this son way back in the early 1700s, like 1770 or 1800s. I can't think of what year it was. And they basically end up using her powers to trick people into, killing off people so she can absorb their magic. Because at the beginning, what happened was she was using her, she was basically, she was pregnant, and, the baby wasn't supposed to make it, but she ended up begging with Rio way in the beginning to save her baby. So she left the baby alone. The baby ends up living. and he lives for a time until he ends up dying. Rio shows up, and she calls him over, and they walk and leave. And then, in the middle of the forest, Agatha wakes up and her son is gone. He's dead. So she kept that lock of hair in the locket. That's supposed to be what the lock was. So I was surprised to find that out. And the other thing about this episode was that we find out is that Agatha has basically for centuries been singing this song down the witch's road. And she basically tricked a bunch of witches into becoming a coven. And she ends up insulting them so bad that they end up shooting her with their magic. And they basically ends up giving her all this energy. And it keeps her young, is what I'm guessing. And they end up dying. So they show us literally a montage of her doing it for centuries and centuries and centuries. And I thought that was pretty crazy. So it finally is revealed that the Witch's Road was just a bunch of hooey. And that Teen, by the time we get to the end of episode 9, created the Witch's Road in his mind. Because it shows where the witches are singing like they was in the basement before. And as soon as she gets to where the witches are getting pissed off and she feels like they're going to blast her, Wiccan shows up and the road shows up and she's shocked. And at first you didn't know why, because you didn't think it was going to work. But come to find out, it was never a real road. It was what Teen cooked up in his head. So he feels bad for basically bringing all these people down into the road and basically them dying because they died for nothing, because he created this road in his mind. It became real. And so the Black Witch lives. Rio, of course, still alive. Wiccan, and that's it. Agatha is dead. She comes back as a ghost. And she was going to get banished by Billy. But Billy ends up talking to Billy into becoming basically her guardian, or basically, her helper. She basically talks Billy into letting him help her, or she help him to find his brother. Because he has a vision at one point when they're down in the room, and he basically sees his brother, but we never see his face. He basically, I guess, gets drowned or something. He drowns to death. So basically, his brother is out there. We just don't know where he is. So that's basically how the whole episode ends. And from there, you see the last image of the black chick. She's crawling out the dirt right outside of Westview. She has her powers, and she's basically starts flying away. And this episode, I gotta say, I honestly really enjoyed both of them. It was a huge shocker to see how everything turned out. It was surprising to basically see Wiccan, kind of just accept that what he did was messed up. And he ends up deciding to go with Agatha, to help, find his brother. And, yeah, I'm going to give both of these episodes a 9.5 out of 10. Both episode 8 and episode 9. They're really good. Like I said, I think the whole show started to pick up once you started to really get into, episodes, was it 5 or 6? But whichever episode it was where you really saw Teen show up and really show who he was, that's where the show really started to pick up. I believe it was episode 6. But that's where the show really started to get good. And to see all this stuff come to light about Agatha and the history, and about basically this whole Witch's Road was basically just a bullshit. And Agatha was just basically made up the song to get a bunch of witches to, steal their power. And the Witch's Road was never real until Wiccan said it was. It really turned on a lot of light bulbs about him saying, well, you never been down the Witch's Road before. And basically she never had, because it was something that was made up based off the song. So I thought this episode was good. Let me know what you all think. Again, a 9.5 out of 10 for both episode 8 and episode 9. Let me know what you all think. I can't wait to see where they go from here. I'm pretty sure it's going to lead into Vision Quest with Vision and going from there. So let me know what you all think. I'll catch you on the next video. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out.